This episode made possible by Restaurant Systems Pro. With excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's counterpart guest. What are we calling you, Jared Parisi?
I'm the I don't know.
Producer,
co-producer,
editor,
yeah,
manager of Eric Cacciatore at times, right-hand man, dude. Something that I don't know if you're aware of. 10 years as of 2025, we've been working together.
I thought it was 2016.
Was it 2016?
I think it was 2016.
Okay.
Almost
9
10 years.
Yeah. It's crazy it's been this long, but the last time we did a Getting Personal was episode 1061. That was in February of 2023. Or is that right? No, try. Yeah.
24.
Thank you. See, it keeps me straight. Did you listen to that episode?
I did. I listened to it yesterday.
What are your thoughts?
I definitely have a question based on some of the things you said you wanted to. Basically, I have a question about how it's been traveling in the camper versus without the camper, because you said that you were going to be able to do some things with the camper that you weren't able to do without it. So I'm curious about if you're able to do those things and how much better it is and what it's like. I think it would be interesting for you to talk about that. But no, I thought it was interesting. I feel like we're still building out a lot of the things that we said we were going to build out in that episode. So that was a little over a year ago. So
it was definitely interesting listening to that. And like, I was like cringing at having to listen to it, because I was like, this is almost 2 years ago. Like, what did we say? How much of what we said was accurate? Did we hold true? Like, it's always like questioning yourself and your integrity when you put things into the world and you say, I'm going to do this. Did we do it? So today I want to cover basically, I want to reflect on what that last Getting Personal, like what you said, like, did what we say happened? I want to talk about what the last 2 years has been like, going into that deeply. I want to talk about new core values. So that's something that's, I think, a big deal for me as well. We're going to talk about where we're at today. Basically paint the picture of where we're at today and like where we're going. So that's what I'm hoping to unpackage today. Before we do that, we gotta get that motivational, inspirational, ball rolling with a success quote or mantra. Do you remember what you said last time?
Yeah, I said darkness is difficult and pathfinders are few.
Yeah, man.
I still think that's a pretty intense quote. I think it applies to like a lot of things in life. Like just light and dark, I think the metaphor is there, even in something like Star Wars, like the light side, the dark side. If you want to go to the light, you have to illuminate, I think, the world around you, and not everyone can do that. And if you can do that, you can consider yourself a pathfinder. I'm trying to think of like what my current mantra is. My current mantra is just like, I don't know what, but I think that mantra still applies. Like, darkness is difficult, pathfinders are few. Yeah.
I said, ain't nothing to it but to do it, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm going to add to that a few others. So I'm going to use two quotes that were the kick in the ass I needed to get this podcast started. The first one is, if you're looking for something and you can't find it, there's a good opportunity there. The second one is, if you just make your life about, and I'm paraphrasing this next one, or maybe it's, you can have everything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want in life. And those are the two quotes that like I needed to hear to say, like, I need to start my own podcast. Because what I wanted was to, open my own restaurant someday. $200,000 in debt, 27 years old, couldn't pay off my school loans working in restaurants. No bank would give me a loan. I was like, well, I can learn, as long as I'm working with restaurants and I'm learning, I can help a lot of people right now with this podcast. And I was looking for the podcast and I couldn't find it. So, that's what I'm going to say today. And I think the other one I'm going to add on to that is, can't stop, won't stop, baby. Just keep showing up.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, dude. So, where to start, dude? So last Getting Personal episode, again, that was February 2024, episode 1061. If you want to check that out before listening to this to see how accurate, dude, I think we're just all over the place. That's I was almost embarrassed at how just chaotic it was, of just literally throwing yourself into the deep end and saying, well, let's just swim. Let's see what happens.
Chaotic. What, the episode itself, where we were? Okay.
The episode itself, where we were, I think that's kind of my status quo, is just go for it. Yeah. Or it has been just again, ready, fire, aim. So, Anything else stand out for you? I mean, I have some notes here, but I'm curious.
From that episode?
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's on this thing here this little outline you wrote here, but I definitely think we need help.
Yeah.
We need like a third person, which Callan was great, but I think that like we need someone who's a little more focused on things that we need. Like, I don't know, what do you think that we need an implementer?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yep.
I do the editing. We haven't really mentioned, like, I mean, I know that I'm mentioned here and there, and I've been on the Getting Personal and whatever, but like I'm your editor. I edit the audio and I publish the audio. I do copywriting. I edit the video. I make promo clips. That takes up like a decent amount of my time. I also have other clients and I work in the service industry. Once again, I work at a bar and I'm trying to kind of get into like a managerial role there with everything I've learned with Restaurant Unstoppable. But if I was the kind of person who wanted to take on like more stuff when it comes to Restaurant Unstoppable, or if like I wanted to like kind of manage you or like direct or like steer the ship, like I could, but I don't really think that that's in my wheelhouse. And I think like we need a third person to implement stuff, like implement your ideas.
100% agree. And that was actually something that I had at the very bottom of our agenda to talk about today, is just to put it out there that we need help.
Yeah.
And where we are, what the big emphasis on our last Getting Personal almost a year and a half ago, or a little over a year and a half ago, was basically that one of the big reasons why I wanted to get into the camper was so I could get content scheduled into the future.
Yeah.
Because this 1 week on the road, 3 weeks home, 1 week on the road, 3 weeks home, it's just not enough to get any deep work done. And you're constantly being like, you can't develop habits that way either.
Yeah.
Routine. And it was just unsustainable. And I couldn't work on the business. I was stuck working in the business. That 3 weeks wasn't like I was twiddling my thumbs. I was scheduling interviews.
Yeah.
I was getting ready for the next road trip.
Right.
And you have to try to squeeze 8 to 10 interviews into a week. So like there's a lot of coordinating that's involved with that.
That was one of my questions. I'm going to interrupt you. So what is it like being on the road with no, like you don't have to be anywhere or you don't have to catch a flight
I want
home?
to talk about that. So when we talk about the last 2 years, I'm going to get into like what that's been like. But I agree with you. We 100% need help. And I guess to kind of tease about what we're going to talk about the last 2 years, or year and a half, it has paid off. I think that the new approach is working really well. For example, when I returned from this last road trip, I had content scheduled into November and I got back in May.
Yeah.
So I've since May to a little more than 2 months ago have been working on Restaurant Unstoppable, almost 6 months to just focus on what's the next thing we need to do to improve, So, it has been working out, but just because I have the time doesn't necessarily mean I'm the right person for in the right seat.
Right.
Of Restaurant Unstoppable when I'm working on the business. So what do you mean? You're the CEO, or you're the founder, what do you mean? Sit in any seat you want. I'm a visionary. I'm a dreamer. I'm an idea person. 100%. We had Mark Winters on the show and we talked about Rocket Fuel, that relationship between the visionary and the integrator. Mm-hmm. I need an integrator. And I have people that I've scouted that I would love to have be the full-time integrator. And they're more like just kind of like donating their time right now and volunteering. But the reality is, to get an integrator, you're looking at a 6-figure salary. You're looking at it's a huge lift. It's a lot of work, and those people, they're directors of operations, they're presidents, they're like technicians. In the world of media today, like those people are in high demand too. So I think that's part of the reality, is just like, where do you find that person, and how do you make sure that they're being taken care of? They got to be really passionate about the restaurant industry if they're going to do it for free. Right.
Yeah.
So I think those are kind of my challenges. there was a huge emphasis on basically like I can't work on the business when I'm constantly trapped in the business trying to keep up with 2 on-site interviews a week. That was the challenge. And the narrative leading into that is like, what is our one thing, right? We talked about this. Her name is escaping me right now. But what is your one thing comes up. Ed Doherty talked about your 1 degree. Put your energy into doing one thing really well. So we said our one thing really well was going to be long form in-person interviews. And we did that. And, I guess would you say that's still our one thing?
Well, now we're doing virtual workshops.
Right. So
I think what makes Restaurant Unstoppable unique is the story, like the in-person interviews with people telling their story while simultaneously giving knowledge and mentorship, and giving advice and business advice in terms of restaurants. But like there's that story and there's that like long form. It's like some of your interviews are over 2 hours long. And I think that kind of in some ways butts heads with the like more pointed, like how do you specifically do a thing in a restaurant, And I'm just so curious, like what do our listeners want? What do they, why are they here? Are they here because they just like to hear people who do what they do talk about their life and their story and like their restaurants with some business advice peppered in there, or do they want like pointed business advice? Like I don't know the answer to that question, but I do feel like what makes the podcast unique is the long form interviews, like the conversation, like a 2-hour conversation with a specific type of person, someone who owns or operates a restaurant. And I think that that's different from what we're doing in the network. And so I don't know how to like wrap my head around that difference and like where to lean into more or whatever.
So I think the one thing that I don't know if it's necessarily the long format in-person interviews as much as we are students. I'm going to people to learn. I don't really have a plan going into that conversation. I'm there just to find out, where are you now? How'd you get here? And where are you going? And I just dig deep. And I'm just looking, like my interview is my research. That's literally what's happening. It's journalistic. I don't know who I'm talking to when I go to a city. I might have 3 or 4 interviews lined up, and they're usually past guests that are like the cream of the crop. Like when I went to Texas and when I went to like Oklahoma City, I was getting past guests on the show.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I want to go deeper. If you were on the show 5 years ago and the first time we covered 20 years, what's the last 5 years been like?
Right.
So you can get granular. You can get more into like, what are your beliefs? What are your values? Like, where are we going? Like, it's more philosophical. And also you have a rapport with that person. So they kind of know what to expect, but they're also going to tell you what's going on in that city since the last time I've been there.
Right.
So it's that really just letting the industry, I think our one thing is to be a platform for the industry to steer that. Like, I think Restaurant Unstoppable isn't my podcast. It's the industry's podcast. I literally let the industry steer the ship.
Right.
And what people tell me, what they're recommending, what they're like, this is the technology we're using, that also steers the ship of like, that's my research. That dictates future content. And to kind of talk about what the last 2 years has been like, I fucking did that, dude. Like, that's what happened. And I'm really proud of that. And it was not easy.
Right.
I think I spent 3 months on the road the first time, and then 2 months on the road the second time. So altogether, I've been traveling the country for 5 months over the past year and a half. So a third of my existence in the year and a half has been living in a truck camper.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is it fun?
Dude, it's free. It's freeing for sure.
Yeah.
There comes, that's another thing. Like, I had no idea what to expect. I had to learn how to dump shit out of a truck camper. Like, I had to like figure out what that's all about. And like, sleeping in parking lots. I've seen some weird things happen in the middle of the night in parking lots, dude. I'll tell you that much right now. Weird shit. Like, it's been a fucking trip, man. It literally has been a trip.
Are you able to, do you think like, do you think your job is better, easier? Do you think you're delivering better content
100%.
by not having to catch a flight home or be home by a certain time or whatever?
100%. That was something that came up, is like, you go into these communities, you're there for a week, you start networking, and then all these opportunities are on the table and you have to leave. So
Do you think you caught up all the opportunities you possibly could have?
I think it's a good balance. You know,
Okay.
I think the longer you stay, the more you can tap into, but you
Yeah.
want to get voices to represent different parts of the country.
Yeah.
But if you've been listening to the content right now on the podcast, we're in Texas.
Yeah, Austin.
So we just got into Texas as the episodes are rolling out, and you're going to start seeing this happen in real time in the podcast, where I'm talking to somebody, I have them call somebody out. You're seeing it happen right now. But then something will just get mentioned on the show. Then I go, oh, while I'm in town, I might as well go follow up with that person.
Yeah.
So, I think, 100%. I'm able to do the work I've always wanted to do, journalistic work, where I can just go and network and let the narrative steer the ship. And the narrative is word of mouth. And that's always been our unique selling proposition, which is just trust. And trust, in my mind, the truest form of marketing and in information gathering is talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to people that they don't know what questions I'm going to ask them. There's no agenda. I'm just showing up and pulling back layers. What comes out comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm really proud of. And then you mentioned the workshops, right? So another thing changed in the past 2 years. I don't know if I should hold off. Do you have any questions about the being on the road? Should we unpackage that more? What up, Unstoppables? This episode is made possible by Restaurant Systems Pro. If you are a listener of Restaurant Unstoppable, I know you've heard me mention Restaurant Systems Pro, but just in case you haven't heard of it yet, it is a all-in-one enterprise solution. All the most critical systems that will help you become profitable. I'm talking about costing. I'm talking about inventory management. I'm talking about budgeting. I'm talking about labor management. I'm talking about training. The list goes on, all under one roof, tied to your general ledger, and they have their own POS, and they integrate with nearly every major POS out there. Restaurant Systems Pro is an amazing tool, and this is the thing that gets me really excited. When you join Restaurant Unstoppable Network, you get access to the CEO of Restaurant Systems Pro, Fred Langley, twice a week for a P&L Power Hour. He literally will let you open up your P&L, share it on the screen, and he will help you close the gaps and increase your profitability. You do not have to be a Restaurant Systems Pro user to benefit from these live events. He doesn't care. We're just here to help you. Head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/RSP to get the full playlist of every Restaurant Systems Pro episode, a link to all the testimonials. And if we haven't sold you on Restaurant Systems Pro by then, I don't know what else to do. But if you really want to up your Restaurant Systems Pro experience, be sure to join Restaurant Unstoppable Network too. All right, guys, one more time, head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/RSP.
I mean, not really. I think we should. I don't know, man. Like I feel like an organization should be like. I mean, we're only two people. I'm definitely like a little bit confused about what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is like, in a perfect world, like, do you just want to be on the road talking to people, or do you want to be like hosting like pointed workshops that are about like teaching people a specific thing within the restaurant industry? Like, do you personally like just want to be having conversations? Like, if Restaurant Unstoppable could exist where you're just traveling and just talking to people and you didn't have to worry about money, is that all you would do?
I love that part of what I do. Don't get me wrong. I love meeting people. I love seeing the country. I love going into these restaurants, not just talking about it, but seeing it, developing the relationships, meeting people who listen to the show while I'm on the road. I love all that. I will say 3 months at a time or 4 months at a time on the road, away from home, away from family, living in a camper, living on the streets, like being an urban camper, you know, that's kind of what I am.
Yeah.
Can wear on you.
Yeah.
And like, it's hard to explain, man. Like when you wake up in your home, you wake up, you know where you are.
Yeah.
You know where your toothbrush is. You
Right.
know where like all of your things are. Like
Yeah.
I kind of have that in my camper. I have places for things,
Yeah.
but like I literally wake up and I'm like, where am I? Like I have to look out the window and be like, where did I park? Like what city am I in right now? And I think just not knowing where you are, like literally needing a GPS to get everywhere you go,
Right.
just is taxing.
Yeah, I agree. I know what you mean.
It just that takes energy.
Yeah.
You know, it just takes energy to just exist.
Yeah.
Way more than you would think. So you don't have a lot of extra mental bandwidth to like create or to plan or to
Yeah.
strategize. So I guess where I'm going with this, like it's taxing. You know,
Mhm.
that's one thing I didn't predict going into this. I do think I need to find balance.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Another thing happened in the past year and a half. I have a girlfriend. I live with her.
Yeah.
We did 2 months apart this year. So the first trip was San Diego and back. When I first got the camper, it was pretty ambitious for our first road trip.
Yeah.
This past winter, I went to Texas and back.
Yep.
By way of a bunch of other stops. And that was hard on our relationship,
Mhm.
you know? So I think it's just a matter of finding balance. The other thing that happened the past 2 years is we brought back remote interviews.
Yeah.
So that was the teaser that I had. Workshops.
Yeah. Can I wish we had more time, dude. We should almost do a part 2 because I have so many
We have
questions.
another hour to go, right?
No, I know, but dude, we could go deep.
Yeah.
One thing, like the thing that's weird is like I listen to every single one of your interviews, obviously. So like I'm just like very embedded, like I know everything that's going on with this whole thing. And one thing I kind of find interesting is like there seems to be like you seem to, like you admit that you're like a chaotic person, you just do whatever you do, but like I feel like you're at the same time like you're trying to force yourself into these boxes. And it's like for example, like even though you travel the country and you go into these people's restaurants, like you wouldn't know that from the interview. Like you don't talk about where you are really ever. It's like I'm not saying that your interviews, I think that your interviews are like subconsciously whatever, they're better because you're on site, and I know what it's like to go into a space with the hope of interviewing someone, and like being in the space definitely gets you further and closer to that.
100%.
But like your interviews like don't really mention usually like where you are. They're strictly about business and the person telling their story. So it's like it's kind of interesting. Like I know that you don't like marketing, but it's like you're very much not like what you're doing doesn't seem like very clear like what the whole point is.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense.
Like you never ask about like the physical space. I mean, you do sometimes if it's relevant. And like I know you don't talk about food, but it's like then why be there?
Because it's about the relationship. So like I believe behind every great restaurant's a great person.
Yeah.
And really I think that's one of our other unique selling propositions is that if you want to open a restaurant, like it starts with you.
Mhm.
You know, like the one common theme about all amazing restaurants is that they have badass people behind them.
Yeah.
So like the journey starts with who are these people? What are their beliefs, their business beliefs? What are their values? Like how did they get here? What did that journey look like? Restaurants, there are no two restaurants that are exactly the same. So I can talk about like the hierarchy and how you create opportunity for other people, but the details of like operations, I don't think those translate as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear what you're saying in terms of like I don't really get in. To me, it's not about me. Like Restaurant Unstoppable isn't about me. It's about all the other people that are out there.
Yeah.
Trying to like I'm just trying to make an example of these people. I'm a student. I'm trying to share my platform with them.
Right.
So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
It's not really a question. It's just like I'm so in it that like I don't ever step back and like really think about it. I just think it's I don't know. Like I feel like Restaurant Unstoppable could go in so many directions, but like it takes so much effort to like choose one and commit to it.
Right.
Like what I don't know. I feel like what you're doing, and I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, "Oh, that would be cool if we could do that." But like what you're doing lends itself so much more to like video and like
100%.
and like
I
and
agree.
like being like
Yeah.
an influencer online.
So we had Sam, right?
I know.
So 2022 into 2023, I got an SBA loan, and I figured, well, how do I use this money to grow the business? I need help. I need a videographer. I'm traveling the country and there's nobody capturing. I'm too busy capturing the story of these individuals. I don't have time to capture my own story. You know, I'm too in it that it's hard for me to stop 10 interviews in 5 days to 8 days. Like, you're running around like a madman trying to figure out where you're going next. And the idea behind having Sam with us was to have somebody capture what's actually happening, to pull people in.
Right.
The reason why Sam's no longer with us is because it was expensive to have a videographer.
Right.
You know, I think I was charging, or it was around $5,000 a month, I think is what I was paying just to have him work with us.
Yeah.
That doesn't include travel. That doesn't include food.
No, I know.
So, you know, we're looking closer to like $7,000 a month, between 6 and 7, right around 6. So like, that wasn't sustainable. I was hoping that his presence in a year and a half would be able to drum up enough revenue where we could then use that additional content and that presence to offset his cost.
Yeah.
It just takes longer. And it's the same story with restaurants. Like, why do restaurants fail? They're undercapitalized. I had no idea how much work it takes to be a media company.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a reason why at the end of a movie, the credits are as long as the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it takes an army to do that stuff. So
I guess kind of what I was getting at is like, I would be curious. I feel like we've asked this question before, but if you're listening or if you're watching, like, why do you listen? Like, why are you here? Why do you listen to Restaurant Unstoppable? Is it because you like long form, open-ended conversations and stories with people who do what you do? Or are you here because like you want pointed advice, business advice on how to run a restaurant? I feel like with Restaurant Unstoppable, I think to inspire, empower, and transform the restaurant industry, I really think inspire is the one that people are here for the most, if I had to guess. Like, you just hear other perspectives from people who do what you do, successful people, or at least successful within the lens of Restaurant Unstoppable, which is not to say that's more or less successful than you would expect or hope to be, but it's like people who are getting organically recommended. That's the lens, you know what I mean? Which is a good lens. But it's like, I think that people are here just to, because we've said it before, restaurant owners are so like in the work, they don't usually have time to like talk to other people who do what they do. So I think that that's why people are here, just for like the inspiration. But the how we doing? I don't know. That's just my guess. But you still want to like serve your, but you still want to like serve your customer or like your listener. So you gotta, I don't know, figure out what that means.
yeah. So so I think this is perfect timing with just mentioning the workshops, bringing back the workshops. And I love that you shared the core value or the mission statement, man, which is proof that what these things are meant to be echoed and shared. And I am very intentional about echoing the mission statement to inspire, empower, and transform the industry. So how I think that manifests is the interviews, going out, learning, being a student first. That is inspire. Go out and share stories. And that's how we get inspired, is through stories, hearing from people who were where we are and how they overcame the challenges that we're having and showing that it's possible. That's inspiration. Empowerment is like, okay, so here's where you are today. I'm going to drill down. I'm going to empower you with the knowledge these people have, which is one thing I'm really proud about over the past year and a half. I think I've gotten much more granular about, tell me about your organizational structure. Tell me about how I started asking like flat out, like, what is your % profit? Like, and how much, like, what are your prime costs? And like, what does that look like? What is your tech stack? Lay it out for me. Like, I'm really trying to get people to open up and to share information, knowledge. That's empowerment. And then transformation, inspire, empower, transform. Also, to go even further with empowerment, I think bringing back the workshops. So we're learning in that moment, like, what does your business look like right now? As they're recommending individuals who've helped them, coaches, consultants, technologies, services, I'm going to those people, the specialists, and I'm saying, teach me about what you do. That's empowerment. The workshops are empowerment. So we're bringing back the workshops. We're going deeper. In my mind, transform, inspire, empower, transform. You transform. The only way to transform, in my opinion, is with community, is with other people to like literally hold you accountable and to lift you up. I think that's our job as leaders, restaurant owners, is to first work on ourselves, inspire, empower ourselves, transform ourselves. And then as we ascend, we have to bring people with us. So that's kind of what RU Network is about, is like, here is my network of people over 1,200 episodes who have been referred to us or through word of mouth organically. And now we're coming together in a community, a network, to lift each other up, to go further together. Because to your point, I am chaos.
Yeah.
I'm a dreamer. I need other people around me who are good where I'm weak. And you might be feeling like that right now if you're listening to this. Like, who do I go to? Well, you can go to other owners who have those unique skills and go further together. You can go to the experts, right? What are you thinking?
I guess I'm just thinking, like, why there are just so many more listeners than there are network members. And I understand, like, not everyone's going to convert, but I feel like that's what leads me to believe that people just like to hear the interviews, and they just like to hear from people who do what they do. And your unique style of like going over 2 hours, I think is what separates Restaurant Unstoppable from any other like restaurant business podcast. I'm not trying to like argue or anything. I'm like trying to, in the moment, like wrap my head around, like, the people in the network, like, what are they asking you? Like, why are they there?
I think they're there because they don't know what their next step is.
I think also they want community. They want to talk to people.
Exactly. They want to be able to connect. They want to be able to bounce ideas off of people. They don't know what their next step is. And I think they're also very overwhelmed with the internet and the world of everyone saying that this is how to do it. This is how to do it. I have all of your secrets. No, I have all the secrets. And it's just like they're being pulled in a million different directions of like what's next, or this is the next technology to invest in. No, you need this technology. And it's just like, here's where I am. Like, I only have this many resources. Mm-hmm. What's the next thing I need to get to where I'm going? What's the next step? And I hope, because of my 1,212 years of just getting perspective and sharing how people have gotten from A to B, that I can be like, well, based off of where you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your business model, your resources, your market, this should be your next step. Yeah. And that's really my responsibility in the network, is to be a curator of perspectives and information and knowledge and people in relationships, and say, I'm not the person that's good in the details, but I know a guy, right? I know a gal. Mm-hmm. Like, let me use my influence to call on that person to serve you in this moment. So like, listen to your challenges. Okay. Let me schedule a mentoring session, whether that be a past guest, a restaurant owner, or maybe let me schedule a workshop, an expert that I can go to and say, hey, can you do a workshop on this challenge? Yeah. Okay. Well, let me schedule that around the individual who asked for it. Yeah. So I can put that person in the same room with this expert. Yeah. So after the workshop, like, they can ask their own questions. Right. No, I thought I've definitely witnessed that. And I think if you're listening and you're wondering if you should join the network, like, especially, that's probably the biggest, like, your ability to influence the content of the podcast as a network member is pretty amazing. Like how Tommy specifically asked about chargebacks, and then we literally did an episode and a workshop about chargebacks, which is like, I had never heard of any of that stuff. So like, the network member said, I'm struggling with this. You said, okay, let me get an expert in. And then you did. And even, I just want to also plug, like, the Restaurant Systems Pro, Fred Langley, P&L Power Hour is incredible. Like that, Fred Langley is such a like giving person, and he's also just so knowledgeable about
the business side and the numbers of running a restaurant, like the fact that you could be in the network, join in on one of those, and have him look at all your numbers and tell you like ways to tighten it up, like basically for free.
Right.
Like that is incredible, because I don't join those live. I listen to them afterwards, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is incredible. Like this right here is worth the price of admission to the Restaurant Unstoppable Network. 100%.
He's saved people thousands and thousands of dollars.
Dude.
We've been only doing this for like, I think almost like 6 or 7 months. We've been doing since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And he's saved members thousands of dollars.
It's wild.
And they've only spent a couple hundred. If they've been in the network since January, $47 a month. Like you do the math. What is that? Like $300?
Yes.
You know, like, duh. Like,
no, I know. Believe me, like
the value's there.
100%. Yeah.
So this isn't. I don't want to make this about promoting what we're doing, but
you should promote what you're doing.
Yeah, like I mean, that's what I need to be better about, you know. And I think that for a while, I was really hesitant to promote what I was doing because I wanted to make sure that what I was doing was like, I don't take what I do lightly. Like if I'm doing something, I want to make sure that it helps people. Mm-hmm. My biggest fear is being a con man. I think I've talked about this before.
Yep.
And it's, what is a con man? Well, I think at the root of the word, it's taking the confidence that you build in a relationship and you exploit it.
Right.
And I have a lot of confidence. My unique selling proposition, I like to say, is trust. Mm-hmm. So like if I say something, I want to make sure that like I'm not screwing somebody over. And the network is challenging because you're dependent on other people. So like I might have all of the right intentions in the world. I might say we're going to do this P&L power hour every other week. But what happens if Fred is like, I don't want to do this anymore? You know? Yeah. So fortunately, Fred is amazing, and I don't see that happening.
Right.
And if it does happen, hopefully we have another expert that is just as good in the numbers as he is. But like right now, if I'm opening a restaurant, I'm going to Restaurant Systems Pro. Like I'm going with Fred. So like it's just all those things. So like also like it's back to my weaknesses, like the user experience. Like I might have the right vision and intention, but can I execute it in a way that people aren't like, what the fuck is this? Like, how do I navigate this website? Like, I'm lost. Like, this doesn't make sense. I really struggle with that. And I feel like over the past literally almost 2 years since we went live last, or personal last, like it's been tweaking and fine tuning and trying to get what's in my head into a digital space that represents what I'm trying to do. And I've never fit well in boxes.
Right.
You know, like
or on the internet.
Right. Exactly. Like I don't like computers. I'd rather drive across the country and do an interview than sit on a computer and talk to somebody. Anyway, what are you thinking? I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm all over the place again. Keep me in track, Jared.
No, I was thinking actually the bar that I'm working at, it's a very unique bar. I want to start a podcast there, and the owner is asking. He's like, well, what if 24 months from now, like you don't want to do it? He wants to create a podcast where like you don't need a host, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like that sounds very difficult. But he's like, what if in 24 months, like you don't want to do it? And I'm like, dude, let's just do it and see what happens. Like, do you want to, not specifically to him, but in general, like what you're talking about, like, do you want to not do it, or do you want to do it until you can't do it anymore? You know what I mean? Like you were mentioning like
one way to find out.
Yeah. Like what if Fred decides not to do it? It's like, all right, well then do it now.
Right.
While he wants to.
Exactly.
But I do know what you mean. Like integrity, like you want to create something that people actually get value out of, and you don't want to look like a ding dong if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really just a matter of like, before I get on the top of a mountain and start screaming, come be a part of this. Like I want to start with an MVP, get 10 to 15 people in there.
But if no one gets in there,
then
you're not going to want to do it. If you tell people to join, I'm talking about in general. If you tell people to follow you and enough people follow you, that's the motivation to keep going. You know what I mean? And that's what I told him, dude, about the podcast. I was like, dude, I make a lot of podcasts. Nobody listens to them. So like if you and I start a podcast, you already have a fandom, like you already have people who follow you and they start listening. Like, dude, that's my motive. I've been looking for that since I started podcasting. Yeah. People to actually fucking listen.
Right.
So I'm like, that's the motivation. So let's just do it.
No, right now I'm feeling like the best I've felt about Restaurant Unstoppable since I started Restaurant Unstoppable. Like that feeling of like there's an opportunity here. There is a group of people who are terribly underserved. They need help. And this thing can literally change the world. And I believe I've changed the world. Like that's a fucking crazy thing to say out loud. But I get weekly messages from people who say, your podcast has helped me so much. And if you believe,
you should send those to me.
If you believe in the butterfly effect,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm changing that many people's lives, or if not I, but the work I'm doing, the stories that I'm sharing from other people is having that much of an impact, and that those people have so much influence on their communities across the country, like we're making a difference. And it's not just me. There's other creators out there doing good work too, you know?
You should send me all those messages.
I'll do my best.
I want to see them.
So I feel like now what I'm doing is it's the next level where it's like if the last 12 years has been about being a student and just feeding myself with perspective and information, the next 12 years needs to be about, okay, I have a lot in me. I have to get it out, and I need to organize it and create what I would like to call the RU path. You know, where if you're here based off of your, you know, the type of person you are and the business model and your goals, then here's a path I recommend for you step by step. And like, that's the next project that we have to work on.
Do you have any paths outlined in your head already?
I mean, yeah. And then a lot of those paths are, you know, what's happening in Restaurant Unstoppable Live right now, Restaurant Unstoppable Network. It's those live events. Like I'm going to Fred Langley and I'm using Restaurant Systems Pro. And if I'm raising money, I am raising enough money to cover the salary of somebody who is some type of controller or like accountant that knows Restaurant Systems Pro. And I'm going to be like, anyway, like leveraging the tools that already exist and plugging them into my business instead of trying to create them from scratch. Using systems like EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, having clear 5-year goals and cadence meetings to keep us on track and to focus on 3 things that each key member can do to move us towards that 5-year. Like all this stuff is what's happening in RU Live right now. So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into this, but yeah, like that, like the biggest lessons, profit first. All the power hours are what I would do if I was opening a restaurant tomorrow, going to the source and collaborating with those people. But it's not on paper yet, like step by step, where you can go to ru.com/path and get that PDF laid out for you. Like that's the next project is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So anyway, looking at the time, I want to make sure that we get everything out that we wanted to talk about. But basically what I'm feeling right now is really good. I mentioned we're bringing back workshops. The whole idea behind those workshops is to unpackage and to go deeper into what we're learning and to serve our listeners. Like our listeners, our community members are dictating the workshops. Literally the members are dictating the live events. I'm there to make it happen for you. That's where we left off in the conversation. And I want to talk about the new core values. So my core values, I discovered, and you'll hear this in an episode I did with Sean Finter, are bad core values, or were bad core values. They're more like guiding principles. I don't know. Do you remember the old core values?
Not really. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of. Well, I'm looking at these now, so it's confusing me. But yeah, like we have integrity. We have fun. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
It's all right. Maybe I wasn't. See, there were bad core values. What up, Unstoppables? This episode is made possible by Restaurant Systems Pro. If you are a listener of Restaurant Unstoppable, I know you've heard me mention Restaurant Systems Pro, but just in case you haven't heard of it yet, it is a all-in-one enterprise solution. All the most critical systems that will help you become profitable. I'm talking about costing. I'm talking about inventory management. I'm talking about budgeting. I'm talking about labor management. I'm talking about training. The list goes on, all under one roof, tied to your general ledger, and they have their own POS, and they integrate with nearly every major POS out there. Restaurant Systems Pro is an amazing tool, and this is the thing that gets me really excited. When you join Restaurant Unstoppable Network, you get access to the CEO of Restaurant Systems Pro, Fred Langley, twice a week for a P&L Power Hour. He literally will let you open up your P&L, share it on the screen, and he will help you close the gaps and increase your profitability. You do not have to be a Restaurant Systems Pro user to benefit from these live events. He doesn't care. We're just here to help you. Head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/RSP to get the full playlist of every Restaurant Systems Pro episode, a link to all the testimonials. And if we haven't sold you on Restaurant Systems Pro by then, I don't know what else to do. But if you really want to up your Restaurant Systems Pro experience, be sure to join Restaurant Unstoppable Network too. All right, guys, one more time, head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/RSP. So I think the core values, the last I worked on them were freedom, integrity. Wait, no, those are the new ones. Did I? Oh, here are the old ones. Sorry. So the last time I worked in the core values, at least like before I changed them, it was integrity. We do what we say we're going to do. We are students. We're constantly learning and growing. We are teachers. We're constantly teaching and lifting others up with us. We are communicators. We are collaborators, and we have fun. Those were the core values. The more I think about it, the more like guiding principles. Like that's how, that's what the most successful people do. They do what they say they're going to do. They just start. They have integrity. They do the thing. They're constantly working on themselves, growing as a person, as a student, and becoming a better version. And then they're taking what they're learning and they're teaching other people how to do it and lifting people up and bringing them up with them and providing opportunity for others. And then they're constantly communicating their values, their vision, what has to happen, whether that be with like EOS meetings, like here's where we are, here's where we need to go. How do we get there? They're communicating and they realize that they can't do it alone, that they have a lane that they stay in and they surround themselves with other people. Like those are like the guiding principles. Like that's like almost uniformly through all the interviews I've done. And also I threw in there, we have fun, because I think people, even like the founding fathers said like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Mm-hmm. But the reality is happiness, that suggests that like we don't have happiness. We're pursuing it. We're trying to get it. The truth is happiness is a choice. You can choose happy today. You can choose to have fun today. You can choose to live in the moment and look back and recognize your gains.
Yeah.
Or you can live in the gap and look to where you want to be and realize that and like that's just a place you don't want to be because you're in a place of scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
Be grateful for what you have. Be happy today.
Yeah.
So those were the values. Today, they are, these are core values. These are my core values: freedom, integrity, curiosity, transparency, service to others, and transcendence. So
sick.
Yeah, I actually just added that one today because I was like, we'll get to that. So I'm gonna unpackage these. So freedom, I found out through lots of personality tests that my number one core value is freedom. Like everything I've done in my life has been in pursuit of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I was a commercial pilot. I thought birds had the best life. They could fly anywhere. They could go anywhere. Like that's freedom. I became a commercial pilot. It sounds so stupid when I say it out loud. Podcaster, like I was trying to have freedom and autonomy to go talk to people and do things I want. Ever since I started the podcast, I wanted to be on the road and just go. Freedom, mm-hmm. Right? And then also like just, I think freedom is a choice, so. And I think a lot of times people, when they hear freedom, they're like, I just want to go sit on the beach, or I want freedom to do nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, well, yes, that is, you can choose to do that. But I think freedom, the true form of freedom is the choice to do something hard that you want to do. That's autonomous, that matters to you.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be easy.
Right.
So like, I think doing the hard thing.
Yeah, the freedom to choose your battle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The fight. And so that brings me to the four types of freedom: freedom of purpose, freedom of relationships, freedom of time, and freedom of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it has to be in that order. If you have freedom of purpose to give your time to the cause that matters, if you have the right why, you can deal with any how.
Mm-hmm.
If you get that down, freedom, what is your purpose? Like work towards that, and it's going to fucking suck. It's going to be hard. But being able to choose that thing, there's like almost like it's like a religious experience, like It's powerful. Then if you can choose relationships, so freedom of purpose, freedom of relationships, the people that you do it with, the people you love, the people who compliment you, the people who share your values. If you're doing hard things with people you love, misery loves company, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's not as bad if you're doing it with people you love and you're going with people who share the same. They want to see the same change in the world you want to see. And then time, like if you're doing hard things that you love with people you love, like time flies by. You have freedom of time. Like, and then the money will come. Freedom of money will come because you'll be able to endure and outwork people. So like that's freedom. Integrity, pretty straightforward. Also, I recognize that this is the most overused core value. Like it's overplayed. I get it. But do what you say you're going to do. That is a core value. Show up. Just keep showing up. And like it's doing the hard thing over time that's going to get you to where you're going. Curiosity is like this idea of like, I don't have the answers. Like what's got me here is of going to others who know more than I do, keeping an open mind, realizing two truths can be true at the same time, having like listening to both sides of the aisle and trying to understand different perspectives, and just being open-minded. Really, at the end of the day, like to me, that's what curiosity is. And it's also like this idea of being a student, right? Always learning. Transparency, like I'm showing my work. I don't claim to have the answers. Like I'm looking for a little bit of forgiveness if sometimes I go down the wrong path, you know? And I think transparency builds trust. Show your work, word of mouth, and then service to others. Like we're tribal. It is in us to exist to serve others. When we serve others, we're seen and valued by the tribe. And I think that being seen is hospitality. You know, like seeing others helps us be seen.
Yeah.
You know, so existing to serve others. And I think that's what we do with the podcast. We try to keep that at the forefront of everything we do. It's not for me, but it's for the listener and for the member, the community member. And then transcendence. So this is getting better every day. This is better tomorrow than we are today. Be the future you today. What is that vision of the you you're trying to become? Be one step closer to that person today. Do something hard today that is uncomfortable to get you to that place. That's transcendence. And that plays off of inspire, empower, transform.
Karis One says, visualize wealth and put yourself in the picture.
Yeah.
And you could trade wealth with anything, but visualize whatever it is, paint the picture in your head, and then paint yourself into the picture.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I just started reading a series of books from Ben Hardy. So the first book I discovered from him was 10X is easier than 2X. Love that book. He's writing a lot of these books in collaboration with Dan Sullivan, who is like one of the most successful coaches out there, diving into Dan Sullivan's practices, but putting them into books because Dan's not a great writer. And the 3 books that I've been listening to was Be Your Future Self Now.
Today.
I think is it today? Be Your Future Self Now is the title of that book. Then the Gap and the Gain, which is really having a big influence on me. Who Not How. Then 10X. And then he has his newest book that just came out, which is The Science of Scaling, which I'm really excited. It comes out in Audible on the 26th of July. But he gets into a lot of the stuff of like, he's an organizational psychologist.
Okay.
So like he writes from the perspective of like a doctor, and he's like talking to you about the mindset and how to live in a way that progresses. So a lot of what I shared is like a reflection of his thoughts. I just want to give credit there where credit's due. But what do you think of the new core values?
I think they're great. I think I definitely have a new perspective. I'm a bartender. I became a bartender in February of this year. I do it for 4 to 5 days a week in a very service-minded company. I'm trying to think of how to really explain that. We're so much more about the people in the community than we are about beer or whatever. And yeah, the seeing people, like being a bartender is like 50% being a therapist, like straight up. And just like, it's so interesting, like who comes in and why. And I've even asked people, you know, partly from listening to your podcast, like I will straight up ask people, not if it's their first time in the bar, but we have a lot of regulars. I will ask people, I'm like, why do you come to a bar? Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
And like the answers are so interesting. It's never beer. You know what I mean? So that whole service to others thing, like, you know, I've had people tell me about their divorce or like their this and that. And it's so interesting, like the dynamics of like, if there's one person in the bar and like they really just want to talk to the bartender, it's like you just have to stand there and talk to them. It's really interesting. Have
you tried connecting your patrons and like one thing that's come up in the podcast is like, okay, like if you're trying to like, if you're busy and you don't want to be rude to this person, you can be like, make an introduction.
Dude, I introduce people all the time.
Nice.
Like, and that's what I've been told, that I'm good at that. I'm just like, yo, you should talk to this person. Cause like pretty much everyone who comes in there is a regular. But yeah, it's cool to work on this podcast and actually work in the industry. I'm trying to think of, no, I think these are all, as someone who listens to your podcast and knows you really well and works for Restaurant Unstoppable, like these all make perfect sense.
Yeah. And if those core values, and I'll run through them again one more time just to refresh your memory, freedom, integrity, curiosity, transparency, service to others, and transcendence, being a better version of yourself tomorrow or today than you were yesterday, or in tomorrow than you were today.
Yeah.
If those resonate with you, those are the core values of Restaurant Unstoppable Network. That's what we're all there to do. We're there to be curious. We're there to learn. We're there to share information. We're there to lift each other up. We're there to set goals and to help each other reach those goals. And if you want access to my network of people, like, I will serve you with this network. My podcast is your podcast, is what I'm trying to communicate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So I think that kind of like summarizes kind of where we are today with what we're trying to do. And I know that I sound like a broken record sometimes when I talk about what I don't like when I look at the world and I see the realities of podcasting and what podcasting is becoming. And one of the things I'm really transparent about is struggling financially right now, because I'm literally turning away sponsors, because the sponsors I am working with, by the way, I want to give a shout out to, Restaurant Systems Pro, Marquee, Mies, Intercanola Law Firm.
Internicola.
Internicola. What did I say?
You say Intercanola all the time.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Internicola.
Think
Law
of the
Firm.
name Nikola. Like Nicola.
My bad.
Nikola Tesla. Isn't that the guy? It's a name. Inter and then Nicola.
Internicola Law Firm. Thank you, Jared. So all my sponsors, incredibly grateful. But the thing is, like, I'm choosing these sponsors. And I think that's the big difference is, when I was in 2023, I was asking $100,000. My goal was to get $100,000 per sponsor, and we had success.
Right.
But what I didn't realize is the strings that come attached with that $100,000, and you lose your autonomy when you're taking on that kind of money from your sponsors. Your service becomes to sponsors, not listeners.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that it's clear that none of these people that I'm currently, or none of these organizations that I'm currently being sponsored by, are doing that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more about finding people that I want to promote, because if the future of taking on sponsors means you have to get them on the show and collaborate with them and promote them like you believe in them, then I have to believe in them. So it's not about how much money I can get from that sponsor, but it's about finding things I believe in so I can effectively promote them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at with sponsors, taking less money than I was in the past, hoping that, building community around these tools and getting the recurring revenue can offset that difference. So that's kind of the strategy right now. So
your strategy is to hope?
No, I believe,
Okay.
I believe that if you exist to serve people and you do the right thing and you are better at promoting yourself, which I need to be better about.
Have you ever heard the quote, "Faith is making virtue of not thinking"?
No.
Something to think about.
I believe in the work we're doing, and I'm doing what we've learned. I'm existing to serve others. And if you do that consistently over time, then it will come back to you. The law of reciprocity, I believe in that. So,
we live in a dog-eat-dog world, Eric.
Yeah. So I think, one of my biggest challenges, and where I am today, and I've had 2 months now and I have 4 more months, or is it 4 more months? August, September, October. I have 3 more months to continue to work on building out the user experience.
How's that timeline going? Where do you think you're going to be, or where do you think you need to be by the time you get back on the road?
I think I need to be to the point where I think we're there. Honestly, I think we're there. But now what needs to happen between now and when I get on the road is I need to get people in. We've
in the
built
network?
it. Yeah. The MVP is there. So the first 2 months has been like, is this thing to the point where I feel like, without a doubt, if you sign up and you show up, all I can do is create the space. You have to show up. If you show up, You will be served.
Yeah.
And we're there. But now I need to start promoting like a mofo. I need to start getting the word out. And I need to start letting people understand and know what we're doing. And
you should be guests on other restaurant podcasts.
100%. That's part of the strategy. The other part of the strategy too, you see those books to your right, The Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets. And I think, is there another one there called Secrets? To your far right, Bombshell.
I don't even know. Oh, Traffic Secrets, .com Secrets, Expert Secrets.
So it's learning. Again, I'm not an integrator. So the biggest thing that slows me down is I have to build this stuff.
Yeah.
And there's also a science to promoting. There's a science and a mechanical part to marketing too. And that's where my focus is going right now, is on, okay, I have all this stuff inside my head and I have to organize it. I have to get it out and to put it on paper. So what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, our uniqueness of why we're doing it and how we're doing, all that is on paper, communicated, and it's aligned with actually putting it to paper. And that whole process of getting that out and then into a digital representation is not intuitive for me.
Right.
So that's what we're working on now. Plus also, just getting out there and promoting and creating ads and, creating like landing pages and trying to collect emails, like all that stuff. So it's a very, they say 5% of your list converts. I've been bad about collecting emails. So going forward, you're going to hear a lot of us promoting what we're doing on the podcast, promoting landing pages, promoting our strategic partners, and giving away resources in exchange for contact information. So if we can get to 10,000, so my goal at the beginning of 2025 was to get to 10,000 email subscribers, to get to 250 RU Live members, and to get the RU path onto paper.
Mm-hmm.
So between now and the end of the year, my goal is going to be to focus on getting that 10,000, because 5% of 10,000, what is that?
How many times is 100 going to 10,000? 100 times?
Yeah.
500?
500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I can get between 1% and 5% of my list of 10,000 to sign up for RU Network or RU Live, then we will be a completely autonomous, independent media company. That will equate to, my goal is 250 RU Live members.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking maybe even 500 RU Library members. We'll get into what those mean, how those are separate. But if we can do that, then we can literally exist to serve nobody but our listeners. And we can do it with a team. I can hire people, I can outsource, and we can do it better than we've ever done it before. So 10,000 email subscribers equates to approximately $20,000 a month. And people might be thinking to themselves, that's a lot of money, Eric. Why do you need that much money? I'm not pocketing that $20,000 a month. There's taxes, there's travel, operational expenses. Currently, you're making more money at Restaurant Unstoppable than I am. I take 25% profit, or owner's pay right now. And that's enough to keep the lights on for me. As more money comes in, I will take less to bring on people we need. I don't need to get filthy rich with this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's not what drives me. So any questions?
No.
So we mapped out where we are today. What is Restaurant Unstoppable Network? Let me answer that question. Kind of already alluded to it, but if you're looking at a hierarchy, restaurantunstoppable.llc.com or restaurantunstoppable.com LLC.
Yeah.
Below that, Restaurant Unstoppable Podcast, Restaurant Unstoppable Network. Below Restaurant Unstoppable Network, you have RU Library, RU Live, and soon to be RU Path. So, RU Library consists of ad-free content, early release content, and bonus content. So if you want to support this podcast for $14.99 a month, you can get ad-free, bonus, early release content. You can also get access to our Unstoppabot, our AI that has over 1,200 transcripts added to it. And it's cross-referenced with spreadsheets. So you can ask it about specific episodes. You can ask it to summarize episodes. You can ask it which episode should I listen to about XYZ. Has Ari Weinzweig been on Restaurant Unstoppable? Yes, here are the episodes. So it's really a tool to mine the mountain of data. If you're a listener of the show and you're like, fuck this scroll of episodes, 1,200 episodes, where do I start? You start with RU Library, the RU AI, the Unstoppable bot. You can ask it any question and it will literally point you in the right direction. There's also a searchability tool, which we're kind of limited. I want to be transparent. Like, again, one core value. So our searchability tool is a portal into Airtable from ClickFunnels. Airtable is our database where we keep track of sponsors, episodes, guests, and all that stuff. We started using it a couple years ago. The archive only goes back to 800. We have to or 700. We have to continue to build that archive, but we have complete lists of episode numbers and titles. So I'm just being transparent that that's a work in progress, and it's a little glitchy with the portal. That we're kind of limited to what we can build. But as more people come in, that's going to be something that we work on. We're going to outsourcing it VAs to work on that backlog, that searchability tool. If you're just looking for like, you can still type things in, but I'm just being transparent. The real value is in the AI the custom GPT we created. So I talked about the searchability tool, the AI, the ad-free content. That's what you get with RU Library. And basically that bonus content is all the live events that we're having.
Yep.
So if you want to see what the live events, like Jared was talking about all the things that Fred is doing. He watches these videos and he edits them. If you want to see all of our live events and listen in and learn, then you get access to those at RU Library. Plus all those live events also get uploaded to the AI. So it's a very robust, powerful AI agent.
It's very cool.
Yeah, so all that for $14.99 a month. There's a ton of value there. And then if you want to be a part of the conversations that you're listening to, if you want access to me every other week where I listen to you and I literally reverse engineer the content to serve your needs, then join RU Live. And that is essentially everything that I just shared, plus access to a calendar. Literally, that is all it is access to a calendar in terms of like the tangibleness of RU Live, but that calendar gets you access to my network and it gets you access to me. And you can join all of our live events. And there's 4 types of live events right now. There's Restaurant Unstoppable workshops, which you hear as podcast episodes. There are mentoring sessions, which are basically one-on-one or panels of people, past guests that I know who are answering your unique challenges, typically restaurant owners. And then there are power hours. Currently, we have a handful of power hours. This is still MVP. Like, we're still working with this. This could change and evolve as we go. But right now, we have operations power hours. We have financial power hours. We have marketing power hours. And we have people and probably going to be some type of legal power hour. So within those buckets, we have our operations. We have Stephanie Robson, fucking badass. Like, that woman is incredible. She's going to be making herself available once a quarter. We have Sean Finter, who is the founder of Bar Metrics, who is literally the coach and consultant for all the best bars out there. Like, this guy's network alone is amazing.
I'm definitely joining that one.
Yeah, he's going to be going live once a month for an hour.
When?
The first one is in September. I want to say it's the 11th, every like second or third Thursday. Okay. Don't quote me. We have an EOS power hour under operations. I'm partnering with Blake Winters, who's literally grew up in a house of EOS. His father is Mark Winters, the author of Rocket Fuel, who is probably one of the most well-respected implementers that exists. He's a descendant of that, and he's specializing in the restaurant industry. That is once a quarter as of right now. So if you're interested in EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, and you want a network of other restaurant owners using this and access to an integrator, then you can get that. No pressure to sign up and to use his services as an integrator, but I recommend it. Then we have financial power hours. That's a separate bucket. Right now we're doing the P&L power hour, Fred Langley, which you talked about, where you show up with your spreadsheet, your P&L. We share the screen and he just tells you where the opportunities are.
From my perspective, that right there those alone are worth the price of admission.
That is every other week. And we give you goals. Like, here's your homework. Come back. Did you do it? Then we EOS that. Did you do it? Why or why not? You know, then we help you identify, solve, and we discussed what maybe might be getting in your way.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. So, and then we also have Profit First Power Hours with Casey Anton, the author of Profit First for Restaurants. And she's every quarter. So if you're interested in implementing Profit First, I will get you to the author who wrote the book on it, literally. Right. And then we're playing around with Marketing Power Hours right now. I self-confessed issue with a lot of marketers. They tend to muddy the water and bring their own agendas into the mix. Sorry, this is personal. This is how I feel. There's always an ulterior motive. So I'm really looking to go to restaurant operators who are marketers, like chief marketing officers or fractional marketing people, or just restaurant owners who are super passionate about marketing and sharing what they've learned. And right now, Anna Tazen, who is a fractional CMO, is going to be starting that real soon. I'm super excited about that. And then people power hours. We had, I think, Rudy Mick. We got Rudy Mick to commit. He's operations and people. People's just one of those things. I don't know. I'm struggling with that because I know so many people who are leaders or like experts in leadership and culture that I'm still a little indecisive there. But I also have lawyers in my network that I want to reach out to for legal power hours. This is all kind of unfolding. That's it. That's Are You Live? That's all.
Yeah.
There's a ton of value there.
No,
man.
I know.
And it's growing as we go.
I will say, even for me, randomly, this is kind of random, but if you're in the network, if you have an issue that Eric has dealt with or has had a podcast about or knows an expert on, he will steer you in the right direction and give you an introduction. I got an email recently about that, that I needed to trademark my business because someone was trying to trademark my business name, and I was like, Eric, you did an episode on trademarks with a trademark lawyer. Can you introduce me? And so Eric literally introduced me and the gentleman. I can't remember his name.
I can't either.
I'm so sorry. Either way, this trademark lawyer, Eric, sent me the email, connected us. I got on a phone call with him, and he just laid out what was happening, and I was like, "Thank you." So that's just another example of if Eric knows someone, he will connect you with them because he has good relationships with all the people that he comes in contact with.
David
Laserbram. Yeah, Laserbram.
And that's the thing. And here's the other thing too. If you have a challenge with something, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
So if I can help you, I can help thousands of people. And that's kind of the mindset going forward. So if you join Are You Live and you reach out to me or you have a conversation with me during Coffee with Eric, which is the last live event that I didn't mention, which is every other week, I just make myself available for an hour to listen and to point you in the right direction. And if I don't have a solution, then that's a future workshop.
Right.
And I schedule it around your availability because I'm doing it for you. So, the whole idea is, or if it's a mentoring session, anyone who's in the network can show up to that mentoring session if it appeals to them. And that's kind of the idea. We go further together. You're steering the ship, but we're all on the ship. Mm-hmm. So if I schedule a live event, whether it be a workshop or a mentoring session, we all get access to that mentor. We can all ask our questions. That's kind of the vision right now. So, that's it. That's Are You Live? And then Are You Path is the next project where I'm hoping to kind of treat it like a mastermind, like people, whether you're at 0 to 3 locations, 4 to 10 locations, or 11 to 20 locations. My goal is to segment those groups of people and to create essentially masterminds where people come together using the lessons we've learned on the podcast to move forward together. And that's probably going to be a 6-month-long mastermind commitment. And if you're interested, email me, eric@restaurantunstoppable.com, title Are You Path, and I'll keep you in the loop. We're not quite ready there. We got to get what's going more so I can kind of automate that and shift my focus. I think we're done, dude.
Well, I just want to say, yeah, Restaurant Unstoppable, man, we're still going. And if you're listening, please hit us up and let us know where you find the most value. whether it's a comment or an email to Eric at restaurantunstoppable.com, or you can email me, Jared P at restaurantunstoppable.com. That's JARED, the letter P. I'm curious about why do you listen? Is it because like what part of it specifically draws you to Restaurant Unstoppable? That's what I'd be very curious about. And I just want to say, like, I don't say how much I appreciate you enough, Eric. I think you're definitely an OG in the podcasting world, not just the restaurant world.
Thank you.
It's very impressive. And I just want to plug myself real quick. So
Su Madre Podcast.
Su Madre Podcast.
Into the camera, Jared.
Su Madre Podcast is my podcast editing service. I could do for you what I do for Eric. I currently have 4 clients. They're all amazing. But I'm definitely open to taking on new clients. Like, I have literally taught people who just want to start a podcast. They know nothing about podcasting. I literally taught them how to do everything, what to buy. And one person in particular I'm thinking of, she has like an incredibly popular podcast and she's amazing at it and she's very good at it and she loves it. So yeah, that's what I do. I'm open to new clients. I also just want to plug one more thing.
Please.
So in October of 2024, I went on a road trip. I'm plugging up my most recent mini-series nonfiction podcast, which is called There and Back Again. I'll link it in the show notes. I drove to Iowa City because there are 5 incredible, there's more than 5, but I had on my list 5 very, very old bars, some up to 100 years old, that are in Iowa City. I went there. I was there for 6 days. I kind of did the Eric approach. I just went into these places and I was like, can I interview one person like from this bar who can tell me stories? So it's more of a memoir. So it's about my trip to Iowa City to document these 5 really old bars and also drink in them and just like meet the people. So it's called There and Back Again. I'll link it in the description. It's not restaurant business focused, but it's about bars,
right?
And like people.
And if you're listening to this and you want to start a podcast, like Restaurant Unstoppable Network, baby. Like, we got a podcast editor right here. Like, I can help get the word out. You can, be a part. Like, I'm happy to help promote. If anybody, like, if you're listening to this, you probably want to start a restaurant related podcast, is my guess. Yeah. So you're in the right spot. Like, we can help you out. I will also
say, like, Eric and I are pretty aligned also. And just in like, I believe in giving also. Like, I'm not the kind of, if you wanted to just talk to me about starting a podcast, like, I'm not going to charge you for my time just to like have a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, I have a meeting coming up with a potential client, and my goal in that meeting is to be like, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, my goal of this podcast, are you sure you want to open a restaurant?
It's like, my thing is to be like, I want to make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into before you like commit to doing it, which I think is like a fair thing. Like, I'm not trying to sell. I'm not trying to just get you on board to start paying me. I want to make sure you want to do this, and then like, I'll help you do it.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So one more just summary of what we're looking for, a call to action before we say goodbye. Our goal is to build RU network up. That consists of RU Library. That consists of RU Live. We explained what those things are. If you're interested in either of those, head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/live for RU Live and restaurantunstoppable.com/RU Library for RU Library. We will have landing pages there. One more thing, we also have a one-on-one. If you want 2 whole hours with me, where I basically treat you like a guest and I interview you and I understand you and your business, it's called Evolve, restaurantunstoppable.com/evolve. You can get 2 hours with me, and I'll also get you 3 months access to RU Live, so I can serve you in actually connecting you with the people that I think you should connect with, and that helps steer the ship of the content in RU Live. So there are your calls to action: restaurantunstoppable.com/RU Library /RU Live and /RU Evolve. Our goal is to get to 250 RU Live members by the end of the year and 500 RU Library members by the end of the year. If you do that, this podcast will literally be unstoppable, and you will be the beneficiaries. Like, we will do some fucking amazing work. We've already done amazing work with the limited resources we have. Like, I'm stoked for the future. Like, I know there's value here, and thank you in advance. Help us meet our goal. We're at 31 right now, RU Live members. We have a long way to go, but we have 6 months to do it. I think we can make it happen. Can't wait to see you on the other side.
Hell yeah.
Later.